There is a place on Earth where geography becomes power. A place so narrow that ships must carefully pass through it. Yet so important that the global economy cannot ignore it. This is the Strait of Hormuz. To most people, it is just a line on the map. But to governments, oil companies, military commanders, and global markets, it is one of the most sensitive places in the world. Because every day, massive amounts of oil and gas pass through this small passage. If it stays open, the world keeps moving. If it is threatened, prices rise, markets react, and nations prepare. So why does this small strait matter so much? Why do powerful countries care so deeply about it? And what would happen if Hormuz was ever disrupted? To understand that, we must look at the narrow waterway that connects the Persian Gulf to the world. This is the story of Hormuz, the tiny passage that can shake the global economy. The Strait of Hormuz sits between Iran on one side and Oman and the United Arab Emirates on the other. It connects the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman, and from there, to the Arabian Sea and the wider Indian Ocean. On the map, it looks small, but its location makes it extremely powerful. Inside the Persian Gulf are some of the world's biggest oil and gas producers: Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, and Iran. For many of these countries, Hormuz is the main exit door to the world. Oil and liquefied natural gas leave the Gulf, pass through this narrow strait, and then travel toward Asia, Europe, Africa, and beyond. This is why Hormuz is not just a regional waterway. It is a global energy artery. The true importance of Hormuz comes from what passes through it. A major share of the world's seaborne oil trade moves through this narrow corridor. Tankers carry crude oil and petroleum products from Gulf countries to the rest of the world. But it is not only oil. The Strait of Hormuz is also very important for liquefied natural gas, especially exports from Qatar, one of the world's largest LNG exporters. This means Hormuz affects more than gasoline prices. It affects electricity, heating, shipping, aviation, industrial production, food transportation, military logistics, and the cost of daily life. When energy moves smoothly through Hormuz, the global system feels normal. But when there is fear that Hormuz could be disrupted, the effects can be immediate. Oil traders react. Shipping companies react. Insurance companies react. Governments react. Because everyone understands one thing. A problem in Hormuz does not stay in Hormuz. To understand Hormuz, we must understand the world's dependence on energy. Modern civilization runs on movement. Ships move goods. Planes move people. Trucks move food. Factories produce materials. Power plants keep cities alive. And although the world is slowly shifting toward renewable energy, oil and gas still remain deeply connected to the global economy. The Persian Gulf region holds some of the largest oil and gas reserves on Earth. Countries like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, the UAE, and Iran are not just local energy producers. They are major players in the global supply chain. For many import-dependent countries, especially in Asia, Gulf energy is critical. China, India, Japan, South Korea, and many others rely heavily on Middle Eastern oil and gas. So if the Strait of Hormuz becomes unstable, it is not only Gulf countries that feel pressure. Asian economies feel it. European markets feel it. American consumers feel it. Developing nations feel it even harder. Because when energy prices rise, almost everything becomes more expensive. The Strait of Hormuz is what experts call a choke point. A choke point is a narrow passage where global trade must squeeze through a limited space. Think of it like the neck of a bottle. The ocean is wide. The global shipping network is huge. But at certain places, everything narrows. And when a large amount of trade depends on one narrow passage, that passage becomes strategically important. The world has several major choke points: the Suez Canal, the Strait of Malacca, the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, the Panama Canal, and the Strait of Hormuz. But Hormuz is special because of the amount of energy that passes through it. If a container ship is delayed, goods arrive late. But if oil and gas flows are disrupted, the impact can hit the global economy very quickly. This is why militaries watch Hormuz. Energy companies watch Hormuz. Investors watch Hormuz. And governments watch Hormuz very closely. One of the biggest reasons Hormuz is geopolitically sensitive is Iran. Iran sits along the northern side of the Strait of Hormuz. This gives Iran a powerful geographic position. For decades, tensions between Iran and the United States, Israel, Gulf Arab states, and Western powers have made Hormuz one of the most closely watched maritime zones in the world. Iran has repeatedly warned that if it faces extreme pressure, it could threaten shipping in the strait. Whether such a threat would be fully carried out is a separate question. But even the possibility is enough to shake global markets. Because the world does not wait for a full closure before reacting. Fear alone can raise shipping costs. Fear alone can increase insurance premiums. Fear alone can push oil prices upward. In Hormuz, perception matters almost as much as action. A military incident, a tanker seizure, a drone attack, or a regional conflict can instantly make this narrow waterway the center of global attention. A common question is, can the Strait of Hormuz actually be closed? Technically, it would be very difficult to keep it closed for a long time. The United States and its allies have strong naval capabilities in the region. Gulf countries also have major security interests in keeping the strait open. But the real danger may not be a permanent closure. The bigger danger is disruption. Even temporary instability can create serious global consequences. A few damaged tankers, a naval confrontation, sea mines, missile threats, drone attacks, cyber disruption, or even rumors of conflict. Any of these can slow shipping, raise costs, and create panic in energy markets. Modern markets are sensitive. They do not only react to what has happened, they react to what might happen next. So even if Hormuz is never fully closed, the threat of disruption is powerful enough to affect the whole world. Some Gulf countries have tried to reduce dependence on Hormuz. Saudi Arabia has pipelines that can move some oil to the Red Sea. The UAE has infrastructure that allows some exports to bypass the strait. Other routes and storage systems also exist. But these alternatives have limits. They cannot fully replace the massive daily flow through Hormuz. Many oil fields, export terminals, and LNG facilities are still tied to Persian Gulf shipping routes. Qatar's LNG exports, for example, are especially connected to access through Hormuz. This is why the strait remains so important. The world has backup options, but not enough to make Hormuz irrelevant. It is still one of the most difficult energy choke points to replace. In simple terms, there are alternatives, but there is no perfect substitute. The Strait of Hormuz may seem far away from ordinary life, but its impact can reach almost everyone. If oil prices rise, transportation becomes more expensive. When transportation becomes more expensive, food delivery costs rise. Goods become more expensive. Airline tickets may increase. Electricity costs can rise in energy importing countries. Businesses face higher operating costs. And when businesses pay more, consumers often pay more too. This is how a narrow waterway thousands of miles away can affect the price of groceries, fuel, electricity, and travel. For poorer countries, the impact can be even more painful. High energy prices can increase inflation, weaken currencies, and make basic goods harder to afford. So Hormuz is not only about oil companies and governments. It is about the hidden energy network behind daily life. Hormuz is important because it sits at the intersection of energy, geography, military power, and global politics. For Gulf countries, it is an economic lifeline. For Iran, it is a strategic pressure point. For the United States and its allies, it is a security priority. For China, India, Japan, and South Korea, it is a vital supply route. For global markets, it is a risk indicator. And for the world economy, it is a reminder that globalization depends on fragile routes. We often imagine the global economy as digital, fast, and modern. But much of it still depends on physical geography. Ports, ships, pipelines, canals, straits. And among these, Hormuz remains one of the most important. The Strait of Hormuz is small on the map, but enormous in consequence. It is important because energy flows through it, because nations depend on it, because markets fear instability there, because there is no easy replacement for it. It connects the Persian Gulf to the world. And as long as the world depends on oil and gas, Hormuz will remain one of the most powerful waterways on Earth. A narrow passage, a global lifeline, a place where geography can shape the destiny of economies. So the next time oil prices rise, tensions increase in the Middle East, or markets react to a distant conflict, remember this name: Hormuz. Because sometimes, the most important places in the world are not the biggest. They are the narrow ones everyone must pass through.